The Alchemy of Ambition, transforming dreams into reality. Welcome to the BlackCEO Podcast, where we unravel the mysteries of success and personal growth. I'm your host, and today we're diving deep into the transformative world of self-development. But before we begin, I want to express my profound gratitude to the incredible Raphaala Yasharahla, whose wisdom and insights have not only shaped this talk, but are actively reshaping lives across the globe. Raphaala's unwavering commitment to empowering others and her innovative approaches to personal growth are truly making our world a better, more inspired place. Her journey from facing personal challenges to becoming a beacon of hope for countless individuals is nothing short of extraordinary. Now, let's embark on this journey together, shall we? Imagine for a moment that you're standing at the foot of a towering mountain. This mountain represents your dreams, your aspirations, everything you've ever wanted to achieve. It looks impossibly high, doesn't it? The peak disappears into the clouds, and you might be thinking, there's no way I can climb that. Well, my friends, I'm here to tell you that not only can you climb that mountain, but you can also dance on its peak. And no, I haven't been sipping on some magical mountain climbing potion. What I'm about to share with you is far more powerful than any elixir. It's the distilled wisdom of those who've not just climbed their mountains, but have gone on to move them. Let's start with a question that might make you squirm a little in your seat. When was the last time you truly challenged yourself? And I don't mean deciding between a latte and an espresso at your local coffee shop. I'm talking about the kind of challenge that makes your palms sweat and your heart race, the kind that makes you think, can I really do this? If you're drawing a blank, don't worry. You're not alone. Many of us get so comfortable in our daily routines that we forget what it feels like to push our boundaries. We become like those inflatable punching bags for kids. The ones that bounce right back up. No matter how hard you hit them, we take life's punches, wobble a bit, and then settle right back into our comfort zones. But here's the kicker. True growth, the kind that transforms you from who you are to who you want to be, happens outside that comfort zone. It's in that scary, exhilarating space where magic happens. Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, that's all well and good, but I'm not trying to climb Everest here. I just want to be better at my job, or be a better parent, or maybe lose those stubborn 10 pounds. And you know what? That's perfectly okay. Because the principles I'm about to share with you apply whether you're aiming for the boardroom or the gym. Let's dive into our first principle, embracing continuous learning. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, great, another lecture about how I should read more books, hear me out. Continuous learning isn't about turning yourself into a walking encyclopedia. It's about cultivating a mindset of curiosity that turns every experience, every interaction into an opportunity for growth. Let me tell you about Trish Tanaj, the founder of Share Your Stories. Trish saw a problem in the entrepreneurial world, a lack of connection and visibility for many business owners. Now, she could have just shrugged her shoulders and said, that's just how it is. But Trish had embraced the mindset of continuous learning. She saw this challenge as an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to create something new. Trish created a platform where entrepreneurs could share their stories, learn from each other, and gain support. It wasn't just a networking site. It was a living, breathing community of learners. And here's the beautiful part. In creating this platform, Trish wasn't just facilitating learning for others. She was constantly exposing herself to new ideas, new perspectives, and new challenges. The results, participants reported increased confidence, improved networking skills, and a renewed sense of purpose in their entrepreneurial journeys. But more than that, Trish had created a ripple effect of continuous learning that spread far beyond her initial vision. Now, I want you to think about your own life. When was the last time you learned something new just for the sake of learning? When was the last time you looked at a problem and thought, what can I learn from this? Instead of, how quickly can I solve this and move on? Continuous learning isn't about adding lines to your resume or letters after your name. It's about approaching life with a sense of wonder and curiosity. It's about being okay with not knowing everything and being excited about the possibility of discovery. Think about a child learning to walk. They fall down countless times, but do they ever think, well, I guess walking isn't for me. I'll just crawl for the rest of my life. Of course not. They keep trying, keep learning, keep adjusting until they master it. And then what do? They start running. That's the spirit of continuous learning. It's about embracing the falls as much as the victories, because each one teaches you something valuable. It's about understanding that the journey of growth never really ends, and that's what makes it exciting. Now, let's move on to our second principle, setting smart goals. And no, I'm not talking about goals that wear glasses and quote Shakespeare. SMART is an acronym that stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. It's a framework that turns vague wishes into concrete plans of action. To illustrate the power of SMART goals, let me tell you about Raphaala Aponte Diamant. Raphaela's story is the kind that makes you sit up and pay attention. An Italian immigrant who faced numerous challenges early in life, she didn't let her circumstances define her. Instead, she used them as fuel to drive her forward. Raphaala didn't just say, I want to be successful. She broke down that big nebulous idea into specific measurable steps. She set timelines, created benchmarks, and held herself accountable every step of the way. It's like she was building a staircase to her dreams, one precise, well-crafted step at a time. The result? Raphaala became a major shareholder of the Mediterranean Shipping Company Group. Today, her net worth is estimated at $33 billion, making her the 53rd richest person in the world. Now, I can see some of you shifting uncomfortably in your seats. You're thinking, that's great for her, but I'm not trying to become a billionaire. And that's okay. The power of SMART goals isn't about the size of the goal. It's about the clarity and focus it brings to your efforts. Maybe your goal is to learn a new language or to start a small business or to improve your relationships. Whatever it is, the SMART framework can help you turn that goal from a distant dream into a concrete reality. Let's break it down. Specific. Instead of I want to get in shape, try I want to be able to run a 5K race. Measurable. I will track my progress by timing my runs and gradually increasing my distance each week. Achievable. Make sure your goal is within reach. If you've never run before, maybe start with a 1K goal and work your way up. Relevant. Ensure your goal aligns with your broader life objectives. So why do you want to run a 5K? Is it for health? For a sense of accomplishment? Understanding the why will keep you motivated. Time bound, set a deadline. I will run a 5K race within 6 months. See how much more powerful and actionable that is compared to a vague get in shape goal. That's the magic of SMART goals. It's like turning on the GPS for your ambitions. You know exactly where you're going, how you're going to get there, and when you should arrive. But here's where many people trip up. They think setting the goal is enough. They write it down, maybe even tell a few friends, and then nothing. They wait for motivation to strike like lightning, forgetting that motivation is more like a muscle. It needs to be exercised regularly to grow stronger. This is where the real work begins. It's in the daily choices, the small victories, the setbacks and comebacks. It's in the moment you decide to lace up your running shoes, even when it's raining outside. It's in the moment you choose to practice your new language skills, even when you're tired after a long day at work. Remember, every great achievement in history started as a goal in someone's mind. The pyramids, the moon landing, the smartphone in your pocket, they all began as someone's SMART goal. So don't underestimate the power of your goals, no matter how small they might seem in comparison. Now, let's move on to our third and final principle. Seeking feedback and support. This might be the most challenging principle for many of us. After all, it requires vulnerability. It requires us to admit that we don't have all the answers, but it's also the principle that can catapult our growth to new heights. Let me share with you the story of Raphaala Yasharahla, an American filmmaker and producer. In an industry as competitive and critical as filmmaking, Raphaala could have easily fallen into the trap of trying to go it alone, of seeing other filmmakers solely as competition. Instead, she embraced the power of feedback and support. She actively sought out mentors and peers who could provide honest, constructive criticism of her work. She created a network of support that challenged her, inspired her, and pushed her to continually improve her craft. Now, I want you to pause for a moment and think about your own life. Who are the people you turn to for honest feedback? Who challenges you to be better? If you're struggling to come up with names, that's okay. Building a network of support is a skill in itself, one that takes time and effort to develop. Start small. Maybe it's a colleague you respect or a friend who's always been brutally honest with you. Approach them and ask for their feedback on a project you're working on. Be specific about what kind of feedback you're looking for and be open to hearing things that might be uncomfortable. Remember, the goal isn't to surround yourself with yes men who will always tell you what you want to hear. The goal is to create a circle of trust where honest, constructive feedback is valued and acted upon. And here's a crucial point. Seeking feedback isn't just about improving your work, it's about improving yourself. It's about developing the humility to recognize that you don't have all the answers and the courage to ask for help when you need it. Think about it this way. Have you ever tried to cut your own hair? Unless you're a trained hairdresser, the results are usually, let's say, interesting. That's because we can't see ourselves from all angles. We have blind spots. The same is true in our personal and professional lives. We need others to help us see what we can't see ourselves. But here's where it gets tricky. Receiving feedback, especially critical feedback, can be tough. It can feel like a personal attack if we're not prepared for it. This is where the growth mindset we talked about earlier comes into play. Instead of seeing criticism as an attack on who you are, try to see it as valuable information about how you can improve. It's like a video game. When you fail a level, you don't throw the controller across the room and declare that you're a terrible person. Well, maybe some of us do, but that's a topic for another talk. Instead, you analyze what went wrong, learn from it, and try again. That's the attitude we need to bring to feedback in our real lives. Now, as we wrap up, I want you to imagine something with me. Picture yourself a year from now. You've embraced continuous learning, turning every experience into an opportunity for growth. You've set SMART goals and pursued them with unwavering determination. You've built a network of support that challenges you, inspires you, and helps you see your blind spots. Who is that person you're imagining? How do they carry themselves? What have they achieved? How do they feel? That person is you. That future is within your reach. But here's the catch. It won't happen by itself. It requires action. It requires commitment. It requires you to step out of your comfort zone and into the exciting, sometimes scary, always rewarding world of personal growth. So here's my challenge to you. As you leave this talk today, I want you to commit to one action in each of these areas. For continuous learning, choose one new skill or subject you've always been curious about and commit to spending just 15 minutes a day learning about it. It could be anything, a new language, a musical instrument, or even just reading about a topic that interests you. For SMART goals, take one big, vague goal you have for yourself and break it down using the SMART framework. Be as specific and detailed as you can. And for feedback and support, identify one person in your life who you trust to give you honest, constructive feedback. Reach out to them this week and ask for their input on something you're working on. These might seem like small steps, but remember, personal growth isn't about dramatic overnight transformations. It's about consistent, intentional actions taken day after day, week after week. As we conclude this journey together, I want to leave you with this thought. Your potential is not fixed. It's not determined by your past, your circumstances, or your current skills. Your potential is a living, growing thing that expands with every new thing you learn, every goal you set and achieve, and every piece of feedback you receive and act upon. So I ask you, what will you do today to unlock your potential? How will you embrace continuous learning, set SMART goals, and seek feedback and support? The choice is yours and the possibilities are endless. Remember, the mountain of your dreams might look impossibly high right now, but with these tools, continuous learning, SMART goals, and a supportive network, you're not just equipped to climb it, you're ready to move it. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of personal growth and development. Now, go out there and start your climb. The view from the top is waiting for you, and it's spectacular.